Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Brian Otten versus JD Pizzas and Grinders. That matter's dismissed on plaintiff's motion without prejudice. Fred Hegan versus Nakaya
Your Honor,
McDonald. Yes.
this is Jason Danek with JD's Pizza. I got the dismissals note. Can I get that with prejudice? Because I satisfied all
It is a dismissal without prejudice.
Okay, that can't be changed.
It cannot. Well, it can,
Okay.
but I'm not going to do it.
Okay, that was my question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fred Hegan versus Nakaya McDonald.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good
May it please the
morning,
court. Dominic Sylvester appearing on behalf of Mr. Hegan.
Nakaya McDonald.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
I film B. All right. Okay, where are we on this, folks?
So, Your Honor,
Go ahead.
Okay, whichever.
Your Honor, this is our complaint to recover possession of the property. There's still outstanding rent that's due and owing of $2,407. There's also late payments that are outstanding of $525. There's an outstanding water bill of $137.
Well, I don't know, my file is marked as a termination, or is this a non-payment?
This is a termination, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I've asked for a complete ledger of what was owed in rent. Utilities are being taken care of, but I asked for my ledger for rent because I am getting assistance through some agencies, but because the court documentations that were first received for the last court date only stated.
Mr. McDonald, hold on a moment,
Yes, sir.
because you have a current lease.
Yes, sir.
So, counsel, what's the basis for the termination?
Under the lease agreement, Your Honor, if there is a failure to perform any condition under the lease agreement, under paragraph 19 of the lease agreement, that constitutes a default, which would allow my client to terminate the lease and the tenancy. The defendant is behind several months in rent.
Yeah, I mean, I see that, but the problem is, if it's funds due or rent, by statute, there would have to be a redemption. If it's a straight termination, there's no redemption. So, all right, look. How much are you claiming? I mean, this is really about money. So how much are you claiming is owing?
In total, Your Honor, $3,069.
$3,069? Okay.
Correct.
And ma'am, are you disputing that amount?
In a way, yes, I am. They're including my utilities, and everything else with the rent. The utilities is being taken care of as we speak. The DT is not the amount they're saying. And like I said, my court documents only stated half of the rent. It didn't state what was owed. So therefore, my conclusion, RPI, my Section 8, took care of either May or June's rent. And also, even that's the questioning that I'm talking with them about, because I have 4 different rent adjustment with different amounts.
Okay.
So yes,
Everybody
it's
just stop. Everybody stop. You guys have taken usually what are simple cases for me and turned this into whatever. I've got a termination case. It's really about rent. Plus your Section 8.
They're including my utility bills, and
I didn't ask you that. Are you Section 8?
Yes, sir. I am. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And monthly, what is your portion?
Monthly, I don't know. Like I said, when I first moved in, I have 2 different rent adjustment. One was for 946, I believe, and the other one states 846 with all the same months. Now I've
Your Honor, I can answer that.
I've recently had another rent adjustment because I was off work due to medical leave since March. So I've recently had my rent adjusted, and I have two more different rent adjustments for the same month, but they're different amounts.
Your Honor,
And
I
that's
can
from
explain
RPI.
I can explain the adjustments if you'd like.
Yes, please.
She still hasn't paid her portion for May or June. Her portion of the contribution for rent was $871. Mishta also hasn't paid the full amount that they owe for May and June. In July, it was adjusted again. Her portion for just July was $27, but Mishta is also short $500. So in total, the back rent that's due is $2,407. We did not include a DTE bill in the utilities, only the water bill, because that does run with the property and would be my client's responsibility. So we didn't include the DTE.
Got it.
And
So
this
she
is
hasn't
where
paid
the
her
confusion is coming from, because I'm getting different things, and so are they.
Ma'am. Problem that we have here is you haven't paid.
I can make a payment Friday, but it needs to be adjusted on what is the actual amount, is all I'm asking for.
Well, there's a bigger problem, because if there's 871 that's owed, that's your portion for 2 months. Council, was that 871 per month, or was it just 871 total?
871 per month. So for May, it's 871. For June, it's 871, and then July is 27.
Okay. So, but then the RBI hasn't paid their portion for July.
And a part of their portion for May or June.
Okay, right. Okay.
And they're not paying any of the late fees either.
Well,
yeah.
That's probably at this point the least of my worries, because this is a mess. You said for July that they haven't paid 500. Did they let you know why?
Other than they missed it. That was all that they told my client.
And okay, they missed it. Were they going to then pay it? Or
well, my client is still not clear on that. All he knows is that at this point he's out over $2,400, and there's two sources of pay. Yeah, and that's why
I get it.
I know.
I'm just trying to figure out, ma'am. All right.
Yes, sir.
So,
Your Honor, at this point, we'd be willing to waive any back rent just for a judgment of possession only.
Well, I can't. Here's the problem with that. I can't do that only because it's a subsidized property. So we can't just do it that way. I mean, I get what you're saying, but we can't do it that way. Ma'am, do you have the notices of your rent adjustment?
I have 4 notices. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you do me a favor?
Can you do me
a favor? Miss
Yes,
McDonald, Miss
Yes,
McDonald, do me a favor. Just answer my question.
Yes, sir.
You have adjustments. You have your notices of adjustments.
Yes.
Okay. You need to get those to the court. Every copy of your adjustment.
Yes, sir.
Counsel, I'm going to need a ledger. I don't think you supplied. That's all right. I'm going to need a ledger that's going to at least include, well, we're talking May and June. That would include at least April. So if I can get it from the beginning of the year, that would be good. Part of the problem here is that we sometimes have problems with RPI. Neither side of what the parties are explaining to me is, I get that it can happen. The very fact that the landlord isn't getting that portion, which is clearly owed, is a problem. It's also a problem from the tenant's perspective as to what to pay, because it sounds like there are numerous adjustments that are happening, and somebody, not the landlord nor the tenant, but somebody's not keeping track of that. So I need that documentation so I can see what was paid and whatever, because Ms. McDonald, it may very well be that you owe money.
Yes, sir.
But
yes,
I
sir.
can't tell what that is right now.
Exactly.
Well, thank you.
Like I said, I am willing to make a payment Friday.
Okay, you just keep talking.
But
so
you're not justifying it. So I was just saying if that was okay or not. Okay. Thank you.
I'm not doing really been doing this 30 some odd years, and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. Are you gonna walk up in my courtroom and tell me that?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
You must have lost your mind. Get that document to me. Just get the documents to me. I'll adjourn this out 1 week. Ms. McDonald, check your attitude
Attorneys.
before you walk back into my court.
And
What time?
Yes, sir.
Ann?
Mr.
What time, man?
Thank you.
At 9 a.m. Don't say anything else, please.
Mhm.
28th, 9 a.m. Court calls the
Your Honor,
case of LaQuanda Marshall
Thank you.
versus Conchanika Thomas.
Hi, Your Honor.
Hi.
I'm
No, I
here.
missed him. Did I get your name right? Ms.
No,
Thomas?
sir, but that's okay. That's okay.
You saw me with that last case. You could at least said yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, sir. You got it right.
Okay. All right, folks. I have the, this is a termination.